Danny. What I want to ask you all is, when was the last time you achieved something that you really wanted to achieve but just didn't do it? Who here has wanted to achieve something but just hasn't gone ahead and done it? Okay, okay. So I remember seeing the film The Bucket List with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. It was a brilliant film, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you do. Because in that film, Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman were told that they had 6 months to a year to live, and they met in the hospital. Now, they waited till the end of their lives to do something about achieving what they wanted to do. Because they made a bucket list. And on this list, they put what they wanted to really achieve in their lives that they hadn't done before. One of the things that they did was go skydiving. Now, I suppose if you're going to do it, you might as well wait till that kind of stage in your life, right? And other things like they visited Egypt and the pyramids, and they went on safari, and they had an absolutely fabulous time. Now, I found myself sitting in the neurosurgeon's office. And he said to me, "Nicci, you have a brain tumour. It's deeply embedded in your brain, and it's the size of a golf ball." My first thoughts were, I don't even play golf. But you know what? I asked him, will I survive? And he said, you will become a vegetable within 2 years if you don't have the operation. And you will be dead within 5. I made a decision there and then to get busy living, have the operation, and learn to play golf, everybody. So I don't know, who's a golfer here? Okay, well, I'm learning. I'm still learning. And, you know, I saw the film Shawshank Redemption. That always stayed on my mind. That scene when Andy and Red were in the prison, and Andy says to Red, you know, there are 2 things in life. We have 2 choices. Either get busy living or get busy dying. And following my operation, I'm now the proud owner of 3 plates and 6 screws in my head, one of which is loose, as if you couldn't guess. What can I say? I decided to make my own bucket list because there were things on my bucket list that I hadn't achieved, that I wanted to achieve. And one of the things I want to share with you today that was on that bucket list is that I wanted to go and visit the gorillas in the Virunga Mountains in Rwanda. And I was very inspired by Diane Fossey. And I saw the film Gorillas in the Mist, which was absolutely brilliant. So if any of you haven't seen that film again, I highly recommend it. Now, Diane Fossey had the courage of her convictions to stand up to those people that were killing the gorillas. She was absolutely brilliant because the gorillas, as you know, were becoming extinct. Now, I may be no Diane Fossey, but I was determined to achieve that #1 thing on my bucket list. So picture this. It was 4 a.m. in the morning at the base of the Virunga Mountains. It was very misty, foggy, and it was cold. And I could smell those wonderful smells from the forest and the jungle above me, from all the beautiful mountains that I could see. And there I was in my climbing gear with my very sexy climbing hat. And I actually thought I'd give you a treat today. I brought the hat with me. Just thought I'd give it a quick try on and show you. What do you think? This was the actual hat that I wore all those years ago. So the guides took our backpacks and we began our ascent. And I was so happy that the other thing on my bucket list was to get fit and start eating healthy food. And getting fit really did serve me, because I started to get a little bit breathless the more we started to go up the mountain because of the altitude. And I'd practiced and I'd prepared and I was feeling absolutely fabulous. In fact, I was ahead of everybody else. I couldn't wait to get to see my gorillas. I couldn't wait to get to see the one thing that that I really wanted to achieve to do. And finally, it took 6 hours to get to the top. And when we got to the top, I was looking around for the gorillas. And I said to the guide, "Where are they?" And he said, "I'm so sorry, they've just gone all the way down to the bottom." And we all collapsed in a heap on the floor from total exhaustion. But I really knew that I want to do this. I want to get up, and I don't care if they've gone down to the bottom, because I'm going to get up now and I'm going to find them, or I'm going to catch them up. So I picked myself up, drank loads of water, and prepared to go down, prepared for the descent. Now, those of you who may be thinking, I wonder what I want to achieve in my life. What is it I want to put on my bucket list? And maybe some of you, and I know I was talking to a few of you earlier, who said to me, well, I recently achieved something that I really did want to achieve. But what else do you want to achieve? What have you put on the back burner? What have you forgotten about? And maybe within your organizations, your companies, or in your personal life, at the bottom of the mountain are friends, family, teams in your business, colleagues that need help, that need to also achieve something, that maybe you need to go back down that mountain to help them come up. Because often, as directors or chief executives of an organization, we climb our mountain, we get there, and we may have to climb another mountain, because we may not have achieved what we needed to achieve at that moment. And sometimes it can be quite easy to forget everyone else below. So let's think about how we can help them. Perhaps by introducing them to masterclasses, workshops, by inspiring them. Perhaps by helping our families, by introducing them to fun things that they can achieve or that they want to achieve in their lives. Helping them come up the mountain. But at other times it can be quite challenging going down that mountain. And I have to say, it was quite challenging going down the mountain. More so than coming up. The terrain was quite difficult. And at one point, I had to take that leap of faith. You should have all been there, actually, for that moment, because I jumped into the arms of the guide. A few of the others did, but the men actually refused to do that. I don't know how you men would feel about jumping into the arms of a guide, but hey-ho. So, but as we got a certain way down, and just after I jumped into his arms, he put me down, literally, and I noticed these big brown eyes staring at me, and the guide suddenly said to everyone, "Shh!" And as he said it, this huge silverback gorilla came charging out at us all, and the guide went wham, and he bashed me back. I have never felt so exhilarated, so excited in the whole of my life. It was a fabulously impactful moment. And then he disappeared. But the guide said to us, everybody crouch down. You need to be really submissive. As I looked out of the corner of my eye, I could see this magnificent gorilla coming back, and he was looking at each and every one of us, side to side. I can't tell you how that felt at that moment. Side to side. Wow. And then he just disappeared into the clearing. It was unbelievable. And we all got up, took a deep breath. You know, it was really worth everything that we had gone through, going all the way up the mountain, which actually took us 6 hours to get there. This was the moment I've been waiting for. And as we walked out into the clearing, there he was, standing there in a really cool rat pose. I mean, I wanted to have a photo taken with him, but he just wouldn't let me. So at that moment, I realized how good it felt to have achieved something that I really did want to achieve. And another time, and another thing on my list, many years before that, was to be on national television. Now, the first time I ever appeared on national television, I was on GMTV with Lorraine Kelly. And there was Lorraine Kelly, all smiles and serotonin flying everywhere. And there was I, pulse racing, heart beating. And I looked at her and I thought, do you know what? If Lorraine can do it, I can do it. And I stepped into her shoes. Just like if there's something you want to achieve, something you want to do in your life, and you really admire somebody else for doing that. Maybe somebody in a movie that you've seen, that you love their character, you think, wow, that person is fabulous. May not be James Bond or Uma Thurman. But I stepped into Lorraine Kelly's shoes. And you know what? She didn't know it, by the way. I just did it. And I sat on that sofa and I felt fabulous. I was chatting away and feeling absolutely brilliant. And then at the end, just like you're about to do to me shortly, all of a sudden I saw the directors and producers waving their arms. I actually thought that, you know, they'd heard about me being in health and fitness and that they were doing star jumps and they wanted to show me what it was all about. But actually they were telling me, Nicci, at the beginning, they'd said to me, when we go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're to cut, you're to stop speaking. And I'd forgotten about that because I was feeling so good that this was something else that I had achieved on my bucket list. And I was chatting away and enjoying myself. Now, I could have let that ruin my confidence, but I didn't. Because I picked myself up, I dusted myself off, and I got myself back onto national television again. And I continued writing things on my bucket list that I wanted to do. So let me just ask you this final question. How many of you here, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, will commit to me in the next week to writing their bucket list, whether it be 5 things, 10 things, or even 1 or 2 things, and letting me know and that you have done this bucket list, either sending it to me. I know that Andrea will be sending you a list with everybody's names, as always, and my name and my email will be on that. Is that right? And to send me that list, to commit to achieving what you want to achieve. And when you have achieved it, and my promise to you is that I will support you And every time you have achieved something on that list, you can let me know. And then I can tell you, well done, because you have also created a fabulous impact, not only for everybody else, but for yourself. Thank you, everybody.